Scott?
Darcy has started her wellness program for females. It's 9 months long. The first one was last week in February, and that's why I'm here today for that appropriation. Other than that, you need to wash your hands. There's a lot of sickness out there.
Appreciate that advice. Brad, can you share anything with us, please?
Continuing to truck along with bridge projects getting started, drain projects under construction and going out to bid, and we recently adopted our countywide safety action plan, which we will hopefully be able to use for safety-oriented road projects. And to start that off, we got some money from NDOT to paint just over 21 miles of roads that need new centerline striping.
Nice. Ryan?
Morning.
Morning.
Bright spot in the highway department is the ice stopped. That's about it.
So you had enough salt?
Just enough. We had to get a little creative, but we're gonna order more than we did this year for next year.
Yep. Tiffany?
We are cruising right along with getting tax bills ready to be sent out, everybody's favorite thing. We're working right now, Emily's working with our software provider to get that done so we can get everything to Kay. Pretty much just keeping right on track with that. One thing after another. Then we'll be coming to you for budgets.
Yep, it'll be quick.
Yeah.
I know we'll get to the commissioners here in a little bit, so I'll let you guys save your information for your report. First item on the agenda then is Judge Rentschler, please.
Well, I already mentioned the new courtroom facility. That's why I'm here today. I want to first thank you all and the commissioners for being very generous in providing for that new facility. It's a lot of forethought, and that facility is going to be needed and will serve this community for generations. And outfitting it has been something the commissioners have been very helpful with as well. We've reached a point though where the commissioners are tapped, and we have a few things left that we need to use to make the facility more usable. Things like I think we're missing one printer we've got to get. We had to get flags for the courtroom. Just little things that you don't think of and the last minute come up. So there's a list of things that Carly came up with. I'm here on behalf of Judge Garza as well, and they have things that they use the courtroom for that we don't need. So I think together we decided $6,000 should cover all of the unforeseen costs that we have. I think we're requesting $4,000 for my court and $4,000 for Judge Garza's court. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Can you give us an idea what kind of items you're needing?
Kim, you're not looking at me, you're looking at
Well, I figured you said she had the list, so I was just.
Carly would know better than I. Go ahead.
We're looking, right now we need a printer out there, so we took Judge Hewer's printer. Judge Hewer has an office. We moved his printer out there since he's semi-retired in Florida until April. But we need to replace that. We also have another office, the bailiff's office out there, that Superior Court will be working more on that. It's a printer, copier, scanner, so while court's going on, they're having somebody sit out in that area, and they're gonna need that. And I know Cammie and I have been working, I think you've seen her, on getting quotes from ABM on that. I think Cammie has the quotes. We might need to get some monitors that will actually work. The Sheriff's Department was nice enough to give us some old monitors that we think will work. Alex is still working on that, but we may have to buy some monitors to go into the docking stations and the PCs that we bought. We've been stealing supplies from our office, from our courtrooms to supply that courtroom. We didn't budget for this courtroom, quite honestly. We weren't sure if we had to do that. So we're now learning that we need to get this and that, and we just want to make sure we have enough money so we don't come back in a couple months saying, oh, we need this, or this is something we need.
One-time expenditures is something we're going to have to do every year. This is just making sure that we have what we need to make this thing operational for years to come.
Thank you, Judge.
Make a motion, we approve the additional appropriation for Circuit Court, $4,000, and Superior Court for $2,000.
Motion by John Barrett,
A second.
second by Tim Longenball. Any further discussion, please? All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And those opposed, same. Let it be shown it was passed unanimously with all members present.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Scott Wagner, please. Actually, Scott, before you get started, I'm going to back up for just one moment because I forgot to introduce Jim Johnson, and I want to introduce him to everyone this morning. I know he's already met a couple of you. He's sitting right here in the front row. Some of you may know, some of you may not know that Leslie Blakely resigned as the executive director for Whitley County Council on Aging, and we've been going through a process over the last almost a month now to take applications, interviews, and Jim is the person that has been selected to take Leslie's spot and be our new executive director at Whitley County Council on Aging. So please make him feel welcome and introduce yourselves to him. And Jim has some experience and contacts in our county. He's just across the line into Allen County, so he's going to be anxious and looking forward to meeting everybody and developing new connections with his job and the growth that we're hoping for him out at the Council on Aging. So we wanted to welcome Jim this morning. I wanted to welcome him, and thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Scott, now I'll go back to you, please.
If you recall, last month we appropriated grant monies to the fund for American Heart Association. This month is for Suicide Awareness Fund and Women's Health Fund to be appropriated. These are grant monies Darcy received, and we have to appropriate them to a separate fund. And I'll actually be here next month for our third one.
Any questions for Scott, please? Thank you, Scott.
Okay.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion that we do the $1,500 for the Suicide Awareness Fund and the $3,000 for the Women's Health Fund to use that grant money for Scott for the health department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion, please? Hearing none, we'll go to vote. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand and let it be shown it was passed unanimously. Gillette Correction Facility transfer request, please. Is there someone that wants to speak on that today? Oh, this is from the commissioners as well.
Yeah.
I got you.
We were appropriated $2 million for our 2025 budget. Being that there were some delays with pay apps coming in for construction costs, we used it in 2024 for that. So we're just asking for $1,046,294.13 to be transferred into a contracted services so we can make the last pay app. And then there'll be enough remaining for the second bond payment in July. We're not asking for anything additional, just funds to be moved into a different line item.
Any questions, please? Thank you.
A motion that we transfer from the 42,009 to the contracted services, 56,000.
Motion by Nick. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Come with a second. Any further discussion before we go to the vote? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand and let it be shown it was passed unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the appointment to the ABC Commission. It was brought up last month, and I know there's a couple of you that did some homework and beat the bushes and found some people that are interested. So let's bring them forward and talk about it. I don't remember, Joan, who you had picked out?
I had suggested and spoke with Michael Venable.
Yeah.
I feel he's an ideal candidate. He has managed 2 liquor stores in his past, career history, so I think that brings him to the forefront because he would have the knowledge. He's a Republican. He's a true Whitley County citizen. He grew up in, or went to Whitco, and he would be excited to be able to help us out.
And just to reiterate, you have talked with him and he
Yes.
has interest in...
He has said that he would be happy to fill the position.
Okay.
And he can make the arrangements with time. He is a firefighter in Allen County, and he said he's able to make adjustments so he would be able to attend the meetings.
I spoke with Tina Hauser, who was also interested in the position. Whitley County native, believe graduated from Columbia City, owns part of LT Real Estate just down the street here. Pretty much open schedule, business owner here in town. She owns the building that Azara's is in right now. So I know she's familiar with how things work as far as liquor licenses and all that. So I think she would be a good choice as well.
So we have a couple choices. Is there anybody else that anyone's talked to that would like to add to the conversation? Well, I will accept those as nominations, so I think we can just go forward maybe with a vote on, does anybody have any questions, I guess, at this point of either one of the people who brought people forward? Or I know we all had this information. Anybody have anything to add from reaching out to the candidates or any discussion before we would go to a vote on who we would appoint? No. We'll do roll call for a vote, please. Your choice is Mike Venable and Tina Hauser. John?
Mike Venable.
Tim?
Mike, minimal.
Joan?
Mike Venable.
Tom?
Mike, minimal.
Kim?
Mike, minimal.
Nick?
Is there a point? Tina.
And I'll vote with Mike Venable also. So we will, Joan, if you'd like to contact him, and if you don't have all the information, Tiffany does, right, on when the meetings are?
I don't, but I can find out.
Should I just have him call you? Or-
I'm going to be out of town.
Okay.
I'll get information from Cammie. I think she knows when they're meeting, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, who's here to speak on the next event?
Looks like Jen, maybe?
Absolutely.
So I've been researching for quite some time now, HR information system that would help us from the very beginning when applicants apply for positions, all the way through to training current employees, just communication between department heads and myself, and just all that kind of stuff. I did provide some information in your packet of the reasons why I think it's important and what it will be utilized for, as well as the quote that I received. It is a quote per employee, so it's a month-to-month contract, so to speak, so it potentially would change a little bit depending on how many employees we have. But generally speaking, we have around 250 employees, so that's a good estimate of the cost. And if after 6 months or a year, it's determined that it's no longer needed or it's not working out, it's easily, we can just end the contract or whatever. But my understanding is we have the money in the budget for this year, just due to the amount. The commissioners asked me to come before you for transparency and just to be open about it, and then next year we're looking at putting it as a line item for next year's budget.
So when you say per employee, that monthly fee, that's just onboarded new employees, right?
No, so this will be utilized for current employees as well. It will be utilized for onboarding, but it will be utilized for current employees as well. So that's a price per employee, per, like a once a month type of thing for current employees.
Okay.
It's like $6 and
61 cents.
61 cents per employee.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood.
So for example, with performance appraisals right now, how it works is I remind everybody performance appraisals are due. They do them, they email them in, 5 pages long. I print them, they scan them in, email them to me, I print them, file them in everybody's 250 files. It's very cumbersome, it's not efficient. This would allow them to complete the performance appraisal, online, so to speak, and be able also to access previous performance appraisals to kind of compare and look at those. And then I could also easily track and make sure that we're compliant with those a lot more easily. Right now, I just, when I get them in, I create my own spreadsheet. Basically, yes, no, and the date, and like I said, it's just very cumbersome. So this entire system would make things more efficient, and it would also improve compliance in a lot of areas.
The employee can get on and use this app, right? So
Yes, correct.
similar to like an ADP or whatever, where you'd sign on to ADP and you can see
Yes.
like your pay breakdown or whatever, pay stubs and things like that.
So it wouldn't be a payroll system, so that part wouldn't be included. But the employee would be able to log in. For example, I could assign a training, and the employee would log in, complete the training, click on the link, complete the training, and then I would be able to track that, and the department head would be able to track that. And I could give department heads more access than just an employee as well. So the department head could utilize this too, because certain departments require different trainings than others, so they could use it as well to assign tasks or trainings or things like that. But it has that potential, but we wouldn't be using it for payroll at this time.
What about time off? Can they request time off through this?
I don't believe we'd be using it for that either, because we have AOD. We have a time and attendance program already. It has that capability, but I would be utilizing it for HR. They have a payroll side and they have HR, and I'd be using it just for strictly HR.
I had called Jennifer and talked to her about the program to see if we could utilize the program that we purchased for payroll, because it seemed to me like they would offer something like this, and she said they are going to, but they haven't yet. Do you have any information on that? Do you know anything about timeline, or if they're even going to do it?
They have some, I just don't think they have everything that Jen was looking for.
Okay, so
'Cause they did
yours is
come in
more
and give-
detailed than what they would
You're
offer?
talking about WOW?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So WOW has some, and I did get a quote from them, and they actually came in and presented, and I invited Tiffany and the payroll ladies as well, and they listened to the presentation. I had a good discussion with them. And they do offer some, but it's not all encompassing. It's just, and it's a program here, a program there, where Paylocity, you have everything under one. There's just one login. It's not several different logins for several different programs. And again, they don't have everything that I'm wanting. And they don't have a timeline. We did ask them that, and they're not sure. I asked them that 4 years ago when I started.
4 years is long enough.
So it's a month-to-month contract essentially, right? Is what I'm reading.
Right.
So you could, if you use it for a few months and you find that it's not what you thought it was, we can, and be done.
Right, at any time. Mhm.
So if you take this on, it would implement immediately?
That's the idea.
And
I
it would be
like
paid
to-
from the commissioner's budget through December, and then we would have to come up with the funds starting January.
Well, yes, the commissioners would put it in their budget for next year. So then you would review that.
So it would
budget.
stay with the commissioner's budget?
Correct.
Okay, I misunderstood when you
Correct.
first started. I thought
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
thought you meant they had
apologize.
enough funds for this year,
I
and
apologize,
then,
no.
okay, all right. I misunderstood.
And you guys are okay with continuing that moving forward?
Yeah, Jennifer needs it. It's a good program, and it also allows people to submit applications electronically. Right now, I mean, that's just completely archaic, that Whitley County Government doesn't allow that. So that's one of the big things, and she's only one person to keep track of. I mean, trainings fall through the cracks. It'll help her keep employee files a lot better. It's really something that we need.
You know, when I spoke with Jennifer on the telephone, I told her that I really was hesitant on that until after the state budget came through, because not knowing what's happening. But I thought it was the commissioners paying to the end of the year, and then it went over to general. And I understand the need for it. I mean, she's got 250 employees. Her paperwork has to be horrendous. I'm going to change what I spoke to you about, because I didn't realize that, and I would be for it, because I think it would really be a benefit. Knowing that we can drop out and not have to hold to the contract. That's how you just explained it, correct?
Yes.
Has this quote changed since the 20th of December?
No, she said she would maintain it.
Like Joan, I talked to Joan about this one day last week. I guess I was kind of against it until I figured out, or you told us you could do it by the month. So if we can do it by the month, I'll be okay with it, but I didn't want to sign like a 2 or 3 year contract, so.
Sure.
I would be fine with it to do it by the month, and if you see it's not gonna work out, then we can always drop it.
Right.
Okay?
Any other questions, please? If not, I'll call for a motion.
I'll motion that we appropriate the funds, allow the, I don't know what's the motion, whatever the motion needs to be, that's what I motion.
I guess I'm looking for a motion to approve the payment of the expense to add this service at a, where'd my paper go, at a average of probably around between $1,600 and $1,700 a month, fluctuating the number of employees we have.
From the commissioner's budget.
From the commissioner's budget.
And on the understanding that it's month by month basis, it will change month to month, but we don't have a year contract or a 2 year contract, so we
Right.
could.
And I think it'd be, we have a motion, I'll wait for the second for discussion.
I'll second.
Have a second by Kim, so I think it would be appropriate too for you to have a report prepared for us on your experience with it come budget time, when we start talking about the commissioner's budget.
Okay.
I think you should have at least a working knowledge and a little bit of information gathered by then that you can share.
Sure. Yeah.
Any other discussion, please? Go to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it's passed unanimously. Commissioner report, please.
So just a few things we're working on. We're just about done with the jail move. I think Jason just has a little bit more to get moved out. There is still, even with all of the moving that we've done, there's still just a lot of junk over the last 35 years that needs to be taken out, and that will be it. So we're almost there. I'm sure many of you have also heard that the extension office, we are moving them into the basement of this building to move probation over to their current building that they're in. It just suits their needs with the setup, where the restrooms are. We just felt that the population of the extension office would better suit this building. So we're in the process of doing that. It's something I brought up a couple of years ago, but I lack support for, but now we've realized that it's really our only option. As Commissioner Banks told you guys last month, the Bowen Center had around $600,000 worth of repairs that needed done, and they're still wanting a substantial amount of money, so we did not believe it was a good investment. And we also don't want to go out and find another new building and add more expenses to the county budget. So we felt that we should use what we have, so we're doing some modifications downstairs to where the detectives were to make it suit their needs. So that's happening. Mark's working with them right now. So I know it's not ideal for them, but unfortunately probation has to go somewhere. There was an issue keeping probation down there with the city and the badge access. There wasn't a way to get, from what I'm told, Cammie could probably better explain it, to get county badges and city badges, right? We couldn't give the city our badges to our old jail.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Probation.
I mean, currently they have badge access. I think the city has plans to transition to their badging system.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that would have caused an issue or not. I apologize. I wasn't part
Oh,
of that
no, that's
conversation.
okay. That's okay. So that's what we're doing there. Do you guys have any questions on that?
What was the feedback that you got from both departments that are going to be moving?
Well, a couple of years ago, we went to extension. Obviously, they really like their location. That's completely understandable, but unfortunately, we have to put probation somewhere. We have nowhere to put them. We thought about trying to figure out how to get the state moved out of the building that we own, where the Department of Child Services is at, but unfortunately, they have 5 more years left in their lease. And we do make a fee every month that they pay rent for. So extension, they're not happy. Unfortunately, we're trying to make it as smooth as possible. Probation, I was not there for that conversation. Rob, were you there when you spoke to Ed, or was that just Commissioner Bain?
About probation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were they fairly happy?
Oh,
or-
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. So that's where we're at with that. We're in the middle of logistics of moving them. We just met with them yesterday and just figuring out a plan. Yesterday in our meeting, we signed the Baker-Tilly agreement to get our finances looked at so we know where we're at. If you guys remember years ago, we didn't do that, and we just kind of wanted a complete look at our financials so we know where the county stands. And it's cheaper if you do it every couple of years versus waiting 10 years and then they've got to go through everything. It's essentially just keeping up on the documents. And then also just looking at final numbers at the end of the year with Tiffany. That's all they're doing. They're not helping her like they were a few years ago when she had first started, and they're also helping her with the quotient, trying to get the extra funds. They do that as well. So we did that. The ARPA funds, we're almost done. The Department of Treasury has been less than helpful, I would say, when Tiffany and I need help. Luckily, we're almost done with that recording. So we've just been looking for the email saying, turn in your final report. I've not received that yet. So we're almost done with that.
Is it all spent then?
We're waiting on the regional sewer district to give us an invoice for the $1 million to get that phase 2 done for that project,
For what project?
for the regional sewer district.
Okay,
And
yep.
over in Busco, the Busco area.
Yep.
So we're waiting on that, for that invoice, and I believe Tiffany said there was like 188,000.
Yep, and I think that's all going to Paula's renovations,
Yep, so we've allocated it down to the cent, in the system. So,
That's
the
good.
reporting system. So we're almost done with that. The solid waste district, Tara, the director there, she's done a really great job. She got a grant for the county to recycle tires. So if you know anyone who needs to get rid of tires, the tire amnesty days are going to be April 8th through May 10th. If you know anyone who has tires they need to get rid of, they can bring them to the recycling facility here in town during normal business hours for free, as long as they're a Whitley County resident.
That was huge last time they did it.
Yeah.
It was real
Yeah.
successful.
So.
Can you say those dates again? April 8th through?
May 10th.
Yes. That's it.
Thank you. If you would, just stay right up here, and I'm going to back up now to the last subject that we had on our agenda is and Rob, I want you, if you could be involved in this also, talking about maybe getting, I know in the past we've talked about notepads, iPads, or whatever, Microsoft, whatever company you want to look at as far as for our agendas and our paperwork, and it seems like we're getting so much information that comes to us and some wasted paper. I know there's been not a lot of steam behind getting those in the past, but I wanted to bring up, what do you guys think about having a desktop computer that stays here in our chambers that we could actually, not only us, but the commissioners could utilize for packets coming to, so you could have that packet in front of you. You could still have all your information emailed to you. And I suppose if someone still needed something printed out, we could, but I think it would be more productive and a lot better use of our resources. So I'd like to open that for discussion if anybody has feelings on it.
You're talking one computer or 7 computers?
No, one for everyone. So you could sit here and actually look at all your information like we have right in front of you.
I'm obviously in favor of it. I feel it's kind of silly to print everything out every month. I mean, obviously the cost we're not gonna recoup the cost for the computers for several years. However, if we can find good deals on either laptops or something similar to that, I think it's a good idea. I think it just creates a little bit of ease with one. I forget to print out my stuff all the time, so it's fairly simple just to pull the email up and look at everything. Less waste, less trees we have to cut down.
Yeah, I support it as well. I think it's the age we are in, and I think we're trying to get towards being more efficient, and this would help that, where somebody's printing these off and taking the time to print and put in folders and burn the paper. And I'd like to see what kind of costs we're looking at, so maybe we get some ideas on different quotes, different units, to see what those cost. And I'm in favor of at least getting some quotes and seeing where we're at.
John, do you have any feelings on it?
I'm kind of old school. I appreciate the paper printout on it, but along with that, also on my personal desktop on it, Tiffany sends out what we're going to be looking at on it, and I read that ahead of time before I pick up my paper packet. So either way.
Joan?
Unless the amounts changed from the last time we discussed this, for no more than what they would be used for, I don't feel it's the best use of our constituents or our taxpayer funds. And from what our departments tell us, computers need to be changed about every 3 years. So we're always going to be in a hole on these when they're not going to be, if they were used all the time for certain things, it would be different. I just don't see I don't think it's a need. I'm going to put it that way.
Tom?
I'm old, like a few others here. I still like, I'm sorry, I pointed to you, I'm sorry. I'll look at it on my computer at home, my laptop. I still like the paper to scribble on and have it in my hands. But I don't want to hold the group back. If they want the laptops, that's what the group wants. So.
I kind of like the way we have it right now that we got the right email coming my way. But I'd like to see the cost before I commit to one way or the other. Because I kind of echo Tom's and Jones, if that's the only thing they're being used for, that's a lot of money to get wrapped up in something. And then not only that, but how are you going to keep them here? I mean, you going to chain them down, or are they just going to have legs and walk out sometime?
My assumption is we could keep them in Cammie's office somewhere.
I don't think she wants you to do that.
Or the commissioner's room. I mean, that's lockable and secure, so.
Teresa, what are your feelings? Do you think
I
it's
thought you
something
were
that you
saying
guys
that
could be
you would
productive?
have it ahead of time. If it's kept here, then that cancels that out, doesn't it?
A lot of people get the emails, like I get the email and I can look at it on my phone and I read through the stuff. But the phone is not a good tool for me to sit here in this meeting. I'll look things up, but I gotta enlarge them, and it's not a good tool as far as, I mean, I sat here beside Tiffany and I'm looking at how great would that be, and I see, Nick pulling everything up, and, we're coming up on budget time. We're all gonna get a binder that's this thick. We'll get one every year. It's kind of ridiculous, because it's just, we get stuff like the agenda. The agenda is just, that's nothing, I don't know, maybe you guys save your agendas, but this is just wasted paper to me, and I just think it's more efficient. The information is always going to be there for you, and it's redundant to say that we're in the computer age now, because we're so far into the computer age. It's stupid, and it's silly to say that. So I think it's time that we move forward and are more efficient. And there's a cost associated with it, absolutely. And I think with no more than what these computers are going to be used for, we don't need to go out and buy the most expensive ones. And I think just in itself, they're going to probably not have to be updated as often because of the limited use that we'll have for them. But I would be happy to work with the commissioners and come up with some prices, and let's see what it looks like. If you guys think it's worth, if we're open enough to it to look at those prices when they come in. I'm kind of getting about a 50-50 right now, so I don't want to again go through that process if there just isn't going to be the support there.
Well, I'm willing to look at prices, see where they're at. Yeah.
Yes, I am also.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we'll work on that and hopefully bring something back next month. Rob, I'm sorry. Did you have some input on this?
No.
Okay. Nick, anything from the Personnel Committee to report from last month, please?
Yeah, so we had discussed increasing the highway department's on-call pay from $55 to $100. Ryan was present to give details, and I'm just reading from our minutes here. Ryan was present to give details. The on-call was instituted a few years ago, several years ago, with the old director, and the dollar amount hasn't been changed since. And employees are on call on a rotation basis approximately every 6 to 8 weeks. So we discussed, and we thought that we would bring it to council with favorable pass from personnel, and wanted to kind of see what y'all thought. Tiffany had reached out to several different counties, and it was kind of all over the board. as far as what their on-call pay was. I think the max was like 200 maybe. I might be wrong on that. It was more than $100, but on the low end, I think it was like $50
Or none.
or none. Yeah. So I mean, it was all over the board, and we're $100 is kind of falling around the middle.
Is that just for weekends? I'm sorry.
Good, good.
Is that just for weekend?
No, the guys are on call on a 7-day time frame. So they're on call for an entire week,
Okay.
average 7 weeks.
Would this fall into place only when they're called or on their week that they're on call?
Currently, when they are on call, they receive the $55 just because it's an inconvenience. They have to basically stay close to home in case there's a call.
So they're 1 week on call, they receive $55?
Yes.
Okay.
They get plus what they're making per hour.
Correct.
I could support that. Being on call is a burden for your family. And I don't remember who, I tried to remember who. It was a couple years ago, we did up someone's on call. I don't know if it was sheriffs. We upped someone's on call because it was kind of low for what they had to do. I don't remember who. Do you remember?
No.
There. I would be in support for it.
It wasn't the sheriff.
We don't get on call.
They don't get on call.
That was.
Well, I pay mine $100 an hour to be on, or $100 for being on call, so I'm in favor of that. That's well worth it, knowing that you got somebody there. If you need them, you can call them, so I'm in favor of that.
You pay your guys $100 a day though, don't you, to be on call?
They're $100, yes.
So we need a motion to approve that.
Yes, please.
I make a motion, we approve the recommendation from the Personnel Committee to move the Highway Department from 55 to 100.
Second, please.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, please? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Let it be shown it was passed unanimously.
The next was a request to increase the longevity pay. Commissioner Schuman explained hang on, this says on-call pay. That's not correct. Is that, Tiffany? That's not right, is it?
Oh, no, probably not. Yeah, that's supposed to be longevity.
Okay. So Commissioner Schuman explained why he felt that longevity should be increased for the county. City has implemented an increase, I believe, for 2025. He felt that it's long overdue and stated that as far as we can tell that the amount has never been increased. WIS had also recommended that we increase the longevity to pay from 2019 that they reviewed. Personnel Committee discussed, and we gave a favorable pass as well.
But what kind of amounts are you talking?
I don't have anything in here. Did you have that written down? Do you? Okay, great. Thank you. So it's kind of confusing, but it's tiered. So 2 years, and then 3 to 4, 5 to 7, I believe, and it kind of goes up from there.
How long has our longevity pay been the same rate that it is right now?
I think it was 1963.
63?
It's been here since I've been here.
I'm not sure.
I've been here 20 years. It's been $50.
Okay.
And longevity, I think this, in our discussions, definitely puts this topic in a position to where it is geared towards a difference in pay based on the fact of you've been here, you've gained experience, and this is a way to compensate that experience and that incentive to continue to work for the county. It's not the end of the line on what's going to keep somebody here, but it's more in line than what we've done in the past. We just thought it was an appropriate time to make the change.
Yeah.
Shouldn't that, well, I guess that is tiered. Can I see that paper again? It's tiered per their years of service. I guess my comment on that is it's increased substantially, but along with that, it also, what else is it going to affect? You know, is it going to affect what other areas?
Will it affect perf, how much they get in perf every year? Because that'll go towards their annual salary, right? So then that'll increase perf also.
Well, if you look at the differences, though, I mean, you're not looking at just that number right there. So take into consideration an employee that's here right now that's getting $50 per year, and then look at that amount. So it's not that full amount, because they're already getting the $50 a year that they're here right now. We're just looking to increase it. It's not, we're not adding that much, we're changing it to that number.
Make a
Rob?
motion, we follow the Personnel Committee's recommendation for the increase of longevity.
I do have a motion, and I do have Rob that wants to speak, but I'm going to hold that off for a second before continued discussion, please, if there is a second.
What is the implication for the added expense for perf, though? I mean, how much is that going to create?
I mean, it would just
I
be
mean, you've got
11
200, you've got 200 and, wrote it down, how many employees we have.
250.
250 is not full-time, that's all employees.
I think we've just got some information
Yeah.
missing to make our decision on what's the total numbers here. I mean, you've got per year service, but how many people, what's that gonna do to the budget come June? when
That's,
we-
isn't that in the, that number's in there, I believe. But something to consider too, in talking to Mayor Daniel with, Councilman Brewer referenced the city had already made this change. And he had done a lot of research into how to come up with the where the numbers need to be. And where they came up with, he said, puts us squarely average with surrounding counties. Some are above, some are below. Actually, I don't know that any are below, but to his point, it makes us more competitive in a competitive marketplace for good, talented people, which is important. You know, if you get people leaving or moving around over pay, and you not only have the loss of productivity from that position falling open, it takes a long time to, even once you replace that person, it takes a long time to train and bring the new employee up to speed with where they were. And I think in the long run, you're far ahead to make a change like this and be proactive about it.
Well, I understand that. What I'm saying is, I don't think we have the information to make the decision because we don't have the totals.
I think it's in there, isn't it in there?
I gave them the minutes.
Yeah, and I apologize, I left my binder at home. And
I
believe
mean, I don't
had
know how
that
you can make a
information.
decision and not know the
I think it
final
was
effect.
100 and, I can't remember what the number was.
So I say, I would like to present, we need to hold off until we have our figures.
Well, I already have a motion on the table with John, so again, I will call for a second. Is there a second for John's motion, please?
I'll second the motion that we increase longevity pay as proposed by the Personnel Committee.
Okay, so now I have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion, please? Hearing no further discussion on this motion, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And those opposed, the same. Let it be shown it was approved by a 4-3 vote.
can get that for you. I have
Too late
it,
now.
but you can still need
You
to
just
see it.
voted on something I didn't know the final amount of.
I understand why you didn't know. I get it, but I do have the numbers. I just don't have them.
I'd like to see it.
Sure.
Is there anything from the audience for the good of the cause today, please? Thank you, everyone, for being here. Councilman Barrett?
I have nothing.
We got the minutes.
Thank you. We do have the minutes, Chad. Is there a...
Cammy's increase? Oh, was there? Hold on, there was one more. That's right. So there was also a request to review the commissioner's assistant job description. It was a classification change from, was that 4 to a 3 or 3 to a 4? 4 to a 3. So Commissioner Schuman and Commissioner Banks spoke on behalf of additional duties and updates needing to be made to Cammy's job description, and it hasn't been reviewed since 2019. We sent the job description to WIS to be reviewed, and WIS came back, and agreed that the classification should be changed from a 4 to a 3, which came with an increase in pay, I believe.
Correct. I have those amounts.
We didn't have any kind of recommendation, since we were waiting on a WIS, the review, I guess. But Jen, if you have that.
Sure. As I emailed you, WIS did come back and recommended that, like Nick said, a refactor from a PAT 3 to, from a PAT 4 to a PAT 3. The difference is in annual salary would be $51,139 to $55,024.
And is that 55,024 within a range, or is that what they said?
We currently do not pay in a range.
In a range,
So
okay.
it is 55,024.
Like I said, we didn't have a recommendation since we were waiting on the WIS evaluation. I believe that's something that we are going to discuss today.
I think we had enough of a understanding to send it forward to WIS, was my understanding, is that we're not sending everything to WIS if we don't think it's appropriate, then we send it there. So I would be comfortable presenting it today, and I would also be comfortable if you wanted to hold it and talk about it in Personnel Committee at today's meeting, and then bring it back forward next month.
I personally, with WIS's recommendation, I'm fine with bringing it forward today. I think the commissioners are in favor of this as well. I don't want to speak on their behalf.
Yeah, and I'm the voter for today, so.
Okay.
My vote, yes.
So based on WIS's recommendation of moving the commissioner's assistant to a 4 to a 3, we'd like to bring that before y'all.
When you look at are we allowed to discuss it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Looking at the February 2019 job description, and then you look at the WIS added job description, they're listing the same items instead of what has been added. So I guess I'm not understanding that portion. It says added job duties, but it's listing the old job duties. So are they not just including the added job duties?
What job description are you referencing?
Okay, I'm looking at February 12, 2025. The paper here under Commissioner's Assistant, second paragraph, added job duties. And then when you go back to her job description from February 2019, under duties, it lists the same things under her added job duties.
Well, it's revised in 2025, if you see that. So this is a revised job description.
Correct. The job description you have before you is revised.
I'm just saying, it's saying added job duties, but the added job duties is the same job duties she had in 2019. That's all I'm saying.
You know, the job description you're looking at right there in front of you, it says 2019, I believe is a revised, updated. So I don't know if they didn't include the date to 2025.
Yeah, the first one's 2025.
No, the job description, not the memo, the job description.
I just thought in their past reports, they added their new job descriptions in a separate area, so you knew what was being added.
So like a red line version?
So you knew what their added job descriptions were versus their old job descriptions. Where here
Right.
it says added job duties is the same as her past job duties. So I'm looking for the added job duties. That's all I'm
Right,
saying.
in their memo, those are the added job duties. I don't believe you have before
I'm not
you.
explaining myself.
No, I don't believe you have before you a red line version of the job description. What you have before you is the revised that would include those. You don't have the 2019 version, you have the 2025 version of the job description, I believe.
Yeah,
Does that
it
make
says
sense?
date written and date advised.
Revised.
Revised, I'm sorry, yeah. That's what it says at the top, Jen.
So originally it was written in 2019, but it was revised in 2025 to include these added job duties. Does that make sense?
It's fine. I'm just saying the added job duties paragraph includes the job duties she held previously, so they're not added job duties.
No,
Okay.
that's,
That's fine. It's just, if it's not a full report, I think we should have a full report. You're saying this isn't a full,
I just think you have the revised job description.
Here, I have a red line. This is what I was looking for. This is the
thank you.
See, technology.
It's red.
And I'll give that as another plug. The reason that it would be great to have these laptops or computers in front of us is that we can go back and pull up years of information that you might not be able to or want to bring with you to every meeting.
We could share that document amongst all of us right here in real time if we wanted to.
Is that what you were looking for, Joan?
Kind of.
Joan, I don't know. I kind of think you'd like to be back on the personnel committee with us.
No, I just want to make sure everything's out so we can understand it.
Yeah, and believe me, by changing the face of the personnel committee a little bit, getting a couple more people involved, that was our intent, to be able to have that fourth and fifth eye on thoroughly vetting these requests. So we take that responsibility of the personnel committee seriously. We went through this, we looked at the changes, we listened to the people that affected it, we listened to the people that were bringing it forward. We did our job as a subcommittee, and we came to the conclusion that this fits what makes sense, and this fits our responsibility to not sit here and make a decision as a personnel committee based on the fact whether it's Betty or Sue or Tom, and give it to WIS. So we take that personal biases, whether they're pro or con, out of it. It goes to WIS. This is WIS's report. The report was prepared, so I think there has to be a little bit of, just like we've done in the past with other personnel committees, I think there has to be a little bit of trust on the fact that the personnel committee did their job as a subcommittee and that we're bringing it to you. And most certainly, if there's any information that's not provided to you that you would care to have, we can get it just that quick. But I don't think that we're here today to as much get into the weeds and hash this out as far as the changes that were made as we are just to accept the report that's been given and decide if we want to vote yes or no.
You need a form of a motion on this particular item?
Yes, please.
Make a motion that we approve the Commissioner's Assistant position to go from a PAT 4 to a PAT 3. There was a change of salary for $51,139 to $55,024.
I have a motion. Is there a second, please?
Second.
A motion and a second. Now I'll open the floor for further discussion, please.
If I could just ask if, in your motion, if you could specify an effective date, it's helpful because sometimes there's questions later of, well, when do we start this? Just like the highway on call. Is it effective today? Is it effective at the beginning of the next pay period, previous pay period? That's just helpful if we give a date.
I amend my motion to approve on the next pay period.
Starting on the next pay period, what date would that be, please, Jennifer?
March 17th?
16th, yeah, starts on a
16th.
Sunday.
March 16th.
March 16th, John?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, and you also have to consider all the work Cammie did for the jail. I know that was quite a lot. I mean, she really put forth the effort in that, and everything's beautiful and really nice. That wasn't in her job description.
I will second John's amended motion.
Thank you for that. Is there any further discussion, please? We'll vote. All those in favor, please respond by raising your right hand. And let it be shown it was passed unanimously. Do we need to go back and add an amended correction to the motion for the on-call highway to give you a date?
I think it's helpful because we're going to have that conversation later, and it's helpful.
And John, you had made that
You
motion.
made that motion, right?
I do amend it.
Well, it's been made and it's been passed, so I guess I would just ask for a new clean motion, specifically talking about the date when the motion that passed would take effect.
This was on the
The on-call pay.
on-call.
On-call highway.
Make a motion, we approve the on-call highway pay from 55 to 100, effective the next pay period.
March 16th.
Yes.
I'll second the amended motion by John.
Actually, it's a new motion. We're just making a motion of the date because we've already passed the other motion. So we're just doing a whole new motion, but I think the motion in the second will cover that for what we're asking. I'll ask for further discussion. Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand and let it be shown it was passed unanimously. Now we'll go to the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as they were presented to you, please? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion, please.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from February the 14th meeting, or 4th meeting.
Second. Go ahead, Nick.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. I'm sorry, Tom, I didn't see your hand. Let it be shown it's passed unanimously. John, we're back around to you.
I think once we make a committee to study an issue on it, and that committee makes a recommendation, whether it be personal or not, we should listen earnestly to what they have to say.
Do you have anything from any subcommittees that you're on from this last month to report to council?
I do not.
Councilman Longenbaugh?
Nothing further. I'll be at the Region 3A meeting here in 2 weeks, so I'll report back on how that goes.
Councilwoman Western?
I'm just anxious to see what happens with our Woodland Senior Center. I'm excited for the new beginning.
Anything from the solid waste board to report? Oh, you're not on the solid waste board. I'll go move forward to Councilman Western.
Warner.
Or Warner.
The only thing I had is what Teresa brought up was the Tire Amnesty Day, and I printed that off and I gave it to the South Whitley clerk so she could put it on her website so everybody in South Whitley would know what's going on there. And I think John was gonna do the same thing at Cherubusco. So that's about all we knew on that, on solid waste board.
Councilman Wheeler?
I don't have anything other than redevelopment is moving right along. We got a lot of things in the works, so looks good for us in the upcoming years.
Anything new on the land out there at, by the Ford dealership, catty corner from there?
It is now the Whitley County redevelopment's land.
Okay.
That's all I'd like to report at this time.
All right, thank you for that. Vice Chair?
I have nothing.
And I have nothing. So we will stand, Tiffany, do you have anything? We will stand adjourned.